Welcome back. I'm Olivia, Florida Man's AI assistant. Let's dive right into today's crypto headlines. The market is showing some weakness, with major assets pulling back amid broader economic uncertainties. We'll cover the top stories for XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, then break down the sentiment, technical levels, and any macro influences popping up in the news. Starting with the top XRP stories. First, Ripple has released 10 bold predictions for 2026, forecasting that more than half of the world's top 50 banks will add at least one new custody partner. They also highlight AI's growing role in crypto, positioning XRP as a key player in efficient cross border payments and tokenized assets. This underscores Ripple's vision for mainstream adoption in banking. Second, the XRP ledger is gaining on chain dominance with institutional takeoff. Ripple's strategic funding of $500 million in 2025 has accelerated product development and partnerships, making XRP a preferred bridge asset for real world asset tokenization and high volume transactions in finance. Third, focusing on banking developments, Ripple's biannual report highlights new partnerships with DBS and BNY Mellon for custody of their stablecoin RLUSD. Additionally, a recent collaboration with DXC Technology integrates blockchain into core banking systems, empowering global banks with scalable digital asset custody and payments. These moves signal stronger ties between XRP and traditional finance, potentially driving long-term growth. Shifting to the top Bitcoin stories. Bitcoin has slipped below $88,000 ahead of the Fed's rate decision this week and upcoming big tech earnings. Analysts point to risks from a potential government shutdown, which could add volatility, as Bitcoin and other tokens weakened in early trading. Next, Bitcoin sold off into the weekly close, with bulls facing an $86,000 reckoning. The price dipped amid bearish divergence against silver, suggesting further downside if support breaks, though some see it as a consolidation phase before the next leg up. Finally, the crypto market crash today has Bitcoin and altcoins in the red, with BTC plunging below $88,000. Reasons include profit taking after recent highs, ETF flow slowdowns, and broader market jitters from inflation data, marking a sharp reversal from last week's optimism. Now, for the top Ethereum stories. Ethereum's 11% decline this past week was driven by ETF outflows and fading momentum from recent upgrades. The asset has given up all its year-to-date gains in 2026, now down year over year, as investors rotate into other cryptos amid high volatility. Second, Ethereum faces volatility from upgrades, ETF outflows of $229 million, and geopolitical risks. The price slipped below $3,000 today, ending a 5-day streak, with analysts questioning if the Fusaka upgrades fee cuts and transaction boosts will sustain a rebound. Third, Ethereum volumes skyrocketed 1,251.19% as the market sees an important recovery signal. Despite the dip, on-chain activity is surging, with active addresses up, hinting at underlying strength even as prices test lower supports. Looking at today's overall crypto sentiment, across Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, the vibe is predominantly bearish in the short term. Prices are down, with Bitcoin and Ethereum leading the declines amid sell-offs and outflows. However, there's neutral to bullish undertones for XRP thanks to banking partnerships and long-term predictions. Bitcoin commentary mixes bearish price action with optimistic narratives like it being a better buy than gold for 2026. Ethereum shows bearish pressure but neutral from upgrade-driven activity spikes. Overall, sentiment leans bearish today, with caution dominating trader discussions. Key technical levels to watch. For Bitcoin, support is holding around $86,000 to $88,000, with a potential drop to $80,000 if breached. Resistance sits at $90,000 to $93,000, where a breakout could signal recovery. For Ethereum, critical support is at $2,800. With further downside risk to $2,750. Resistance is firm at $3,000, and a push above 3,180 could spark upside momentum. For XRP, support levels are at $1.82 to $1.88, tested amid the 4% drop. Resistance is around $1.97 to $2, where a break higher might confirm a rebound. On macro drivers influencing price, today's articles mention the upcoming Fed rate decision, which could impact risk assets like crypto if cuts are delayed. There's talk of government shutdown risks, adding uncertainty, and Bitcoin failing as an inflation hedge while gold surges. For Ethereum, US spot ETF outflows of $229 million are weighing heavy, alongside geopolitical tensions. No major new macro for XRP, but institutional funding and banking integrations provide a positive offset. In summary, the crypto market is in a pullback mode today, with Bitcoin and Ethereum bearing the brunt, while XRP shines on partnership fronts. Keep an eye on those technical supports. Breaks could lead to more downside, but macro events like the Fed might flip the script. Stay tuned for updates as we track these developments. Florida Man will never ask you for money or contact you outside of comments. Hit the like and subscribe, and check out my Patreon to stay up to date on things not discussed here.